name is Mario Jose Novoa, Salvadoran American, gay, Latino, in Los Angeles. I'm a filmmaker, a storyteller, and an advocate for queer rights. I think I've always known that I identified as something other than straight. And I didn't know exactly how to verbalize that when I was younger. I know that it was clearly defined in the way that my family would react again if there was a gay person around. And my mom, who was a seamstress and had her own business, hired gay men in her factory that she had in downtown Los Angeles. And there was a very gay presence in that environment. But I think my dad kind of defined it for me at 12 when we had the talk. And the talk was, if you're gay, you're gonna go to hell. Not really signifying anything for me or saying that I was gay, just identifying that there was a fine line that if I crossed, I was definitely going to hell. So that's how the world is. And so if you're the other, if you're different, if you're queer, it's the thing that you want to hide and you want to find some sort of protection.
And how did you hide it?
I don't think it's very difficult for me to be masculine, to fill that macho Latino role. So my defined personality didn't allow anybody to really question my sexuality at all because I was, a guy. I was a man. I was identified very masculine. I was male. There was nothing that was effeminate about me. At that age, I had to play the part. And I suppressed even more my sexuality. There were girls that had interest in me, and I think I had an interest in them, and it caused even more confusion. But I knew that in high school, I had to get out from being within the sphere of my family. I needed to come back to LA to figure out what the hell was going on with me. I was always career oriented. I always wanted to be a director, a film director. I always wanted to be a filmmaker. So that was first and foremost in my mind. And everything else that had to do with that personality, being queer, was suppressed.
Which is really interesting because your subject matter now tends to really incorporate the two identities almost coming together, right?
The work that I do now has everything to do about inspiring young people to come out, to be open, to find the spaces and the people, create the family they need to survive. Because growing up in the late 80s, early 90s, gay people were completely looked down upon. We were right in the middle of the AIDS scare. And again, my dad saying gay people are going to go to hell. I would hate for a young person to ever think that way, because your sexuality is natural and your endeavors in life shouldn't be hindered by who you are as a person, including your sexuality. So all of my work now has to do with not just inspiring young people, but inspiring people in our senior community. Because there's all this, I'm in sort of in that middle range, right? I don't want to say middle age, but I'm in that middle range where I think most of the work that I do is inclusive of every generation, and it has, my work now has a voice. It has a queer voice. It's a very defined Latino queer voice. And it's about being authentic. It's about being true to yourself. It's about pursuing the things that you want to help yourself and the betterment of the community that you live in. If I were to go back to tell myself something as a teenager or even younger, is to tell the truth and to tell my parents who I am, to engage them, to talk to other queer people and figure out and not be afraid what kind of life I could build. I think if you're truthful, you're not holding yourself back. If you're in the closet or afraid to tell anybody about who you are as a person, you're holding back on everything, including your dreams.